Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very honored to be asked to make the next presentation. This gentleman that is being inducted here this afternoon, I've known since the off-season of 1980 and 81. And how that came to be is he called me at the radio station that I was employed at the time in New Hampshire, and he identified himself as Bob Weber. I didn't know who that was. So in the conversation, which was very brief, he says, "Jim Cheney told me that I need to talk to you." Okay? We made that arrangement to have that conversation the week after at my home. Spent 2 hours, and the decision was made to join Bob with his new venture, and that was purchasing Star Speedway. I left Lee Raceway to go down to Star under Auto Racing of New England. That was the sanction that Bob debuted. So I think I was the first to go from up the street to down the street. You'd have to be from our area to understand that. Let me tell you a story about Big Bob. He was born in Amesbury, Massachusetts. He attended Amesbury schools and was a graduate of Amesbury High School class of 1965. He furthered his education at Worcester Polytechnical Institute and Merrimack College. He started his career at Triad Engineering in Burlington, Massachusetts, where he partnered with two friends in developing the circuit board of the original Pong video game, as well as several other projects for the thriving video game industry at that time. Bob purchased Star Speedway in Epping, 1980, and later purchased Hudson Speedway in 1989. He received much recognition and many awards from his auto racing peers. Because of his love of the supermodifieds, a division that he had heard may be eliminated from Star due to the low car counts, he would have no part of that. So he figured, if I own the place, the division will be safe. Ultimately, he endured through thick and thin with the Supers as a weekly division until the end of the 2000 season. Even to this day, Bob is the reason supermodified racing still exists here in New England. Other career highlights, or as we all called Webb. The creation of the 350 Supermodified division. Bob and the late Randy Whitcomb developed a set of rules to bring older Supermodifieds back to life, and the division bloomed. Along the way, Rob Wilcox even won a NASCAR National Championship behind the wheel of his number 08 car, winning a staggering 17 races in 18 starts during his championship campaign. This division still continues to grow. 39 350 Supers registered for competition in 2019 at Star Speedway. Bob didn't just limit his attention to his own weekly classes. He made sure the state of racing throughout the region was healthy. When the NEMA midgets were going to split into two groups with a rival class, it was Bob who ordered a sit-down and brought a mutual agreement to both sides, which has helped to keep the NEMA group alive today. Not afraid to develop ideas, he was the first to put Pro Stocks on an 8-inch tire to help equalize the competition and take away some of the high-dollar engines that had made their way into the division. During his tenure at Hudson Speedway, he also developed the Outlaw class. That was a melting pot of cars from all over New England that could race at Star or Hudson with simple rules. There was only 5 of them. His biggest creation was the Halloween Howler, an event that is now nationwide, with competitors coming from as far away as Japan to compete in this annual event. At its peak, the event drew a record 600+ entries for the one-day event, and the New Hampshire State Police deemed it a sellout and had to shut down the ticket windows. Bob's biggest skill, though, was his people skills. He was a shoulder to cry on, a confidant that you could express things to, and was everybody's friend. People would say they went to complain, argue a call with Bob, then they left not even knowing what they were there to argue about. Bob Weber started many racing careers, Derek Griffith, one of the bright young stars of today, and Matt Swanson, currently the driver of the famed Old Blue on the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. A 37-year career for his love of the super modifieds. Bob passed away January of 2018 at the age of 70. I'm really happy to say that his children, his son Bobby, his grandchildren, Jamie and Tim, and of course the watchful eye of his bride Jean, Star Speedway is red hot right now. A lot of people are talking about it. The last couple of years they've had a very good racing season each year, and they continue to grow. Healthy car counts, healthy crowds, and it's really good to see for the Webers. With all that said, my buddy Bob truly deserves this induction into the 2019 Hall of Fame. And one thing I'll say, a lot of people don't know this, but I do, because I used to get the phone calls. Bob Weber is a Patriot fan, but down deep inside, he still loved the New York Giants, who are losing to the Jets right now. So, Jeannie, Bobby, come on up for the presentation. Mrs. Gene Weber, Bobby Jr., who's doing a heck of a job at Star.
Thank you, John. This is one thing I always wanted my dad to be in before he passed away, and it's a big honor now. And one of the things I do want to say is I didn't even realize what was happening there. One of the coolest things of the day was to see Jack Doyle going on the same day. My dad and Jack, as Dick Bergen said, everything from New England Dragway, they were really good friends, and to see this happen on the same day was really cool. So congratulations, Jack. My dad, I don't know how many of you work with your dad day in and day out, but working with him for 30 plus years full time, 24 hours a day, isn't always the easiest thing. But like John said, it's the people things that my dad did that really instilled a lot in me and made me see how much of an impact he made on the sport of racing. One thing I always saw was how much he did care, and he thought of every single racer that came through Star Speedway as one of his kids. He wasn't always big on the facility itself, but if you were a racer, he would take the shirt off his back for you and give it to you right there. Many people have told me this over the years, and I've seen it firsthand. Days when we'd have a big paying race and you wouldn't see a full field of cars show up, he'd still pay every dime of that purse that he promised, and I'd ask him why. There's not many people here, there's not enough cars to cover the purse, and he'd say, Bob, you can't penalize the racers that did show up to support you. That's the ones that we need to care about. The ones that stayed home, it's their loss. Don't take it as a negative. And I try to remember that to this day. And as John said, Star is on the upswing. This is the first time in 39 years this year we did not have a single rain out all year long. And I just try to remember everything my dad told me. And in closing, I'm just proud that he's into the Hall of Fame this year.